Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions, and join me today for my quick overview of the latest book from Erik Kriek. This is The Pit, published by Living the Line. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. Before going any further, a big thank you to the kind folks at Living the Line for sending us an advance copy of this book. This book is due out in the direct market and book market on April 15th or 16th, depending on where you get your books. So what we're looking at here is an advance copy of it. And this is Erik Kriek, the same gentleman who gave us The Exile, also published by Living the Line, and that happened to be one of my favorite books that came out a couple of years ago. I was blown away by the story. So, same creator, same size of the book, by the way, and the only difference is that this doesn't have a glossy finish to it. This has a flat finish to it, as opposed to this that had a glossy finish to the actual art on board. So let's look at the spines together. This time around you have Erik Kriek up at the top, the pit, the symbol, of course, which becomes very, very important in the story, and then of course Living the Line down there, and then the backs of the book. I don't know why I'm showing this. It's not like it's the same series. This is a completely different story than this. But the retail price of this one is $28.95. Now, in case you don't have this book right here and you want to see the size of this book, I'm going to compare it to the size of a marble omnibus. So it is just as tall, it's just longer, and of course not as thick because we are looking at a marble omnibus, but it is just as tall. So it's almost like a deluxe edition size. Now, if you don't have omnis, let's compare it to the size of a trade paperback, which is the trim size of a single issue. So obviously it's taller and longer than that of a trade paperback. All right, what I am going to do next is open this book up. Again, the art is on board. There is no dust jacket. Talk about the story found in here and show off this artwork and look at the extras and, of course, the build. All right, let's go ahead and get this book open. Yeah, beautiful end sheets and the artwork. Now, at the very beginning, you don't even see Erik Kriek's name. You just jump right into the story. You don't see where it was printed. You don't see the usual things that you see in a collected edition or graphic novel. And you just go right there and you go to the symbols, the woods, and the pit. And then you see people talking. So these two people are this married couple, Hugh and Sarah Pittman, and they decided to move to this old family home. It belonged to Hugh's uncle, Henry. And they're escaping life in Amsterdam and the big cities. So they're moving to this home in the woods of Veluwe. I think it's Veluwe. That's what it's called. And I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly. But anyway, the home is beautiful and needs some renovating. But nobody really has been out there for a long time since his uncle left it to him because none of the other family members wanted it. Apparently, in a story that Hugh later reveals to Sarah, his uncle, had gone a little bit crazy after losing his wife and his kid. Now, out in the woods, they start noticing some symbols, these sigils right here, that will play a big part in the story, as well as this tree that has fallen over with this black water right here. Now, the important thing that has happened to these people in their lives is that they have lost their son. 6 years ago, their son, Reuben, was killed in a car accident. And Sarah has felt guilty since that date. She's an artist and she has art exhibits, and something happens at one of her art exhibits. You can tell that this is a flashback because of the color tones that Kriek is using. But she feels this immense amount of guilt for something that happened to Reuben. And it's a horrible circumstance. Both of them are trying to find each other again. They still are married. She's she was seeing a therapist, she's on medication, and she's trying to do the right thing. Now, she's still connected to the people in the city. She's still trying to get an art exhibit going, but more and more she feels the pressure of maybe she can't, right? Like she can't do it. Now, this is when things start getting really weird. Like she starts running into people that have lived in this town that knew Henry, the owner of the house. People just come, like there's an old lady that just comes barging into the house while they're painting it one day. And she just starts telling them, leave the dead alone. Because if you summon the dead, you can never go back. So it's all these like premonitions as to what's to come or what probably happened before. And it is just a dark, beautiful, hopeful yet horrific story, and that's the best way I want to put it, because there are elements, of course, of a horror story in here, but it is just gorgeously and traditionally drawn with this brush, and I love the limitations to the colors that they use. Of course, you go back to the flashbacks with the blue, the nightmares are red. I'll show you a little bit of the nightmares here. Now, I want to say this is mature content because of the language and some of the things that happens through here and violence, and I think some of the sexual content in here. But nightmares are done like this. So she starts having nightmares about the water, this dark water that she saw. And then she starts having dreams, and the color tones change of her son, and how Reuben is perhaps coming back to her, and she doesn't know what's real anymore, what isn't real anymore. And of course, Hugh is starting to worry about his wife. He is worried that he's taking on this job in the city and he has to be gone for a couple of weeks, and then that couple of weeks turns into months. And then you start seeing some horrible things happen to some of the town folks and to some of their friends that come over to visit for dinner when they get lost in the woods. Yeah, it's a really twist and turn story. I didn't know where it was going to go. It's only 144 pages, and it is a quick read. I want to go look at the extras, make sure they don't spoil anything. Okay, yeah, this doesn't spoil anything. This is the design for what will become the cover. And, of course, the pit, as is known. There. And adding some characters that didn't make the final cut, but other characters did, like Emilio right there. And then, of course, early sketches of Sarah Pittman right there. And the entire idea came from this sketch. And all the way in the back is where you're going to see all the credits, including the English edition and the translations, all done by Erik Kriek. The translations and then the text adaptation by Sean Michael Robinson, the English adaptation, and then, of course, Living the Line and the folks behind Living the Line, and a little bio on Erik Kriek himself, and then again the sigils on the trees right there, which become a very important part of the story. By the way, this end sheets are different than the end sheets here. Now, 144 pages. Let's look at the binding. It is sewn binding and printed in this really thick matte paper. The artwork is really reminiscent of Exile, and the story, man, it is just a punch to the gut, especially if you've lost anybody in your life and the hopelessness that comes with it. But a beautiful story nonetheless, with some horrific things that happen to people that didn't deserve happening it to. But that is it. That is The Pit, hardcover from Living the Line. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this hardcover, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this book. In the comments down below, let me know if you have read The Exile, which was a phenomenal book, by the way, or if you plan on picking this up because you have. And if you have any questions, leave those down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.